Hello everyone. In this particular video, we will be talking about tests which are done in organic chemistry to characterize various functional groups. There are many tests which are done, out of which 4 we'll be discussing in this particular video. As you can see, the 4 tests which we'll be going to do in this particular video will be ferric chloride test, Bayer's test, Carbylamine test, and sodium hydrogen carbonate test. Now, ferric chloride test is used for characterizing phenolic group in compounds. Baeyer test is used as a test for unsaturation. Carbylamine test is used to characterize primary amine group in the compound, and sodium hydrogen carbonate test or bicarbonate test is done for characterizing carboxylic group in a particular compound. So let us try to see each one of this in detail and the reaction involved in it. Ferric chloride test. Compound with a phenolic group will form a blue-violet, purple, green or red-brown coloration upon addition of ferric chloride. So if a compound contains phenolic group, or if the compound is itself phenol, then upon addition of ferric chloride, it will always turn the solution to one of this color. Usually it's violet. Now why it happens? You can see the reaction. Because of the formation of the complex in the reaction, alcohol when it reacts with FeCl3 forms that particular complex. That complex turns the system into violet color. Bayer's test. In this test, the pink coloration of potassium permanganate, we know that potassium permanganate is pink in color, the solution, disappears when an alkaline potassium permanganate is added to an unsaturated compound. Usually, whenever unsaturated compound reacts with alkaline solution of potassium permanganate, then the pink coloration of potassium permanganate disappears. It becomes colorless. Now, why it happens? It is because of that particular reaction which is happening, which is an oxidation reaction. Alkaline potassium permanganate is quite an oxidizing agent, and when an alkene reacts with water in presence of the oxidizing agent, that is dilute alkaline KMnO4, then it produces a vicinal diol, which is colorless. An example with propene is shown, which gives us 1,2 propane diol, which turns it colorless. So if it becomes colorless, that means the compound contains a double bond, or the compound is unsaturated. Now, the mechanism of that particular reaction is also shown. It was found out that the mechanism undergoes electrophilic addition reaction, in which an intermediate cyclic manganese ester forms, which turns or which converts into vicinal diol. So you can clearly see in the reaction that whenever an alkene reacts with potassium permanganate, gives an intermediate compound, that is cyclic manganese ester, which converts into the vicinal diol, which is a colorless compound. Carbylamine test. Carbylamine test is done for a primary amine group. In this test, we take primary amine and warm it with chloroform and potassium hydroxide. The resulting compound is an isocyanide, or we call it a carbylamine. That is how we get the name as carbylamine test, and is characterized by a highly unpleasant odor. The smell of such compound is very, very unpleasant. So if you get an unpleasant smell, that means that particular compound contains a primary amine group. And remember that this particular reaction is not given by a secondary or tertiary amine. Sodium hydrogen carbonate test. When carboxylic acid reacts with sodium bicarbonate solution, carbon dioxide is evolved with a brisk effervescence. Along with sodium acetate is formed. So you can see the reaction when carboxylic acid reacts with sodium bicarbonate. What is formed is sodium acetate, water, and very important, carbon dioxide. And that carbon dioxide produces brisk effervescence, which gave us the indication that the compound or the sample contains a carboxylic acid as a functional group. Now, to understand it in a better way, let us try to take an example. This particular example was a question from IIT JEE 2019. Now, let us just try to analyze it. So in this particular question, what they have given is two columns. So we have to match it. The first item or the column is about drugs, and the second is about test. Now, you can see all the four tests which we have just discussed: carbylamine test, sodium hydrogen carbonate test, ferric chloride test, Bayer's test. Now we are very much clear that which test is for which functional group. Now the question is, which functional group is present in which drug? That's why understanding the structure of a particular functional group will be very, very important. If you don't know the structure of a particular drug, or if you don't know which functional group is present in that particular drug, then it becomes very difficult to tackle such question. So let us try to see. Chloroxylenol contains phenolic group, so gives ferric chloride test. Norethindrone has double bond, so will give Baeyer test. Sulfapyridine has NH2 group, it gives carbylamine test. Penicillin has carboxylic group, so will respond to sodium hydrogen carbonate. To prove it, let us just see their structure. So on my top left, you can see penicillin, then sulfapyridine, then norethindrone, then finally comes chloroxylenol. So you can clearly see in penicillin, you have a carboxylic group. In sulfapyridine, you have NH2. In norethindrone, you have double bond. And in chloroxylenol, you have a phenolic group. So that's all for today. Thank you very much.